Jimmy Lakey Mass Choir. Thank you to them for singing with us, and I'm pleased to have you. With no further ado, he's probably wondering what the hell he's holding all this time for. I want to bring in my guest, Michael Fields. He's... I love my own sarcasm. Sometimes I'm a smart ass that makes myself laugh. Michael Fields, Executive Director of Colorado Rising Actions, on the hotline. Michael, welcome into the program, sir.
Hey, Jimmy, it's good to be on with you.
Great to have you here. First of all, we need to clarify, there's Colorado Rising and there's Colorado Rising Action. Names are similar, missions are not. Let's clarify what Colorado Rising Action is.
Yeah, so very different than Colorado Rising. Our group, Colorado Rising Action, we're a conservative organization. We do research, we do tracking, we do communications. The other Colorado Rising is the environmental group that's pushing this horrible legislation at the Capitol, push 112 this last election, and run by Joe Salazar. So we have very different views. The good one is Colorado Rising Action.
They're very good. Michael Fields is the executive director for them, and ColoradoRisingAction.org. You can find them, more of what they do. Michael, I had you on. I read this column that you put out. It's at page2.completecolorado.com, and you talk about the overreach that's happening, and it's really an understatement, happening at the state capitol. And I want to get into that because I don't know if I've ever seen this happen in all my years of politics, where you have such a divided state right now, to where the Denver-Boulder corridor, the state capitol, is basically thumbing their nose at the rest of Colorado. Democrats overreaching, voters reject 112, and in de facto Senate Bill 181, they're about to give us 112 with 2,500-foot setbacks. It is an understatement to say overreach. We're in record-breaking ground and territory here, aren't we?
Yeah, I think this is unprecedented, what's happening this session. And in that column, I go through 5 or 6 issues where Democrats, not only they're wrong on policy on this, and it's outside of the mainstream of what Colorado thinks, and you use the example of 112, but it's, death penalty, it's national popular vote, family leave, it goes on and on. But I think part of it, too, is the process. They are ramming stuff through very quickly. There's no collaboration. There's no reaching out to the people that will be affected by this. And so I think what they don't understand is, majorities aren't permanent in Colorado in the legislature. We saw that in 2013 when they pushed those gun bills. I think they're doing what they did with the gun bills, times 5 right now. And I think there's going to be a backlash, and whether that happens, in 2 years, whether it happens in 4 years. But I think in the meantime, there's a process like national popular vote where petitions are being gathered to reverse it. And so I think you're going to see this backlash from people, not only because of the policy, but also the process.
Michael Fields is my guest. He's the executive director of Colorado Action Rising. He has a piece up. I'll post it up at page2.completecolorado.com about the overreach of the Democrats. It's interesting. Jared Polis ran on a platform. Governor Polis ran on a platform of all-day kindergarten for free, and then he ran on a platform of transportation, even though it was some green transportation. None of this stuff was none of this stuff that they're doing seemed to have been stuff that they campaigned on. As a matter of fact, Jared Polis said he was against Proposition 112, and yet it seems like he really wasn't, because he's probably going to sign 181 if it makes it through. Was this the biggest deceit campaign ever? I mean, none of the things that he's listed as a priority have been in the first half of the legislative session. They haven't pursued any of those priorities. These things kind of came out of the dark.
Yeah, I think you're right. They made certain promises, and really they've been running on other things and then claiming that this is what they campaigned on. I mean, you see this election death consequences, and they're ramming this stuff through. Jared Polis, for example, you said he was against the 112. He didn't even come out for the tax increases on the ballot this last time, and now they're trying to go around paper. They're trying to take as much money as they can through this family leave. It's $1 billion tax increase. So there's a lot of things they didn't tell voters at the time, and I think that's why you see the reaction. I mean, they didn't say we're going to take away, your electoral votes and hand them to California and New York. So I think that's where you see this backlash, is it isn't the things that they necessarily campaigned on that they're pushing through right now.
I have a little conspiracy theory kind of going on that this is all meant to, they're going to kill the golden goose of oil and gas in Colorado with Senate Bill 181. The billions of dollars of tax revenue going to affect the entire state. Then they're going to come back, and they've already started. They've said, we don't have enough, Governor Polis, to fund all-day kindergarten, but it's enough to get us started. They kill the goose that lays the golden egg, and then they can say, "Oh, we're out of money here in the state. We got to get rid of Tabor. We have to raise our taxes." I think it's all part of the scheme. They get rid of oil and gas. It gives them an excuse to claim that people are being victimized because they don't have any money.
I guess, but they have to have revenue there, and there's people here that are being productive in order to get the money. I think that this SB 181 will impact our economy to a huge degree. $650 million a year go to education from oil and gas. We currently have the number one economy in the country, but looking at these policies 2 or 4 years from now, I don't see how that's the case. And I think when you go and talk to voters eventually and say, are we better off than we were 2 or 4 years ago, that's going to be a clear answer that we're not. And that's why I hope a lot of this stuff still doesn't go through, or that it can be reversed, because, I have 3 kids. I want this state to be, as prosperous as it is right now for the future, but I just don't see that happening. And I think they're going to chase businesses out. They're going to chase oil and gas out, and the revenue is not going to be there to do all these things they want to do anyway. I grew up in Illinois, and I've seen it happen. They have huge deficits because they just raise taxes all the time, chase businesses out, and that's why they're in the situation they are.
Michael Fields, Executive Director of Colorado Rising Action. One more question. Michael, we all learned that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Obviously, the talk of recalls are there. From top of Complete Colorado says there's 2 different groups pursuing a recall of Jared Polis. How does this all play out? It's a divided state. Give me any predictions, insights. Are we going to see a kickback at the ballot box? Are we going to have to wait, or is Colorado a lost state?
I don't think that it's a lost state. I still have hope that that voters will figure this out and see, if they're raising taxes, they're chasing oil and gas out. We're going to have some kind of response. I don't know if that ends up being recalls. 2013 was unique. I don't know if that can be repeated. But I can see, in 2 years, 4 years, I think Republicans start making gains back as long as they have, a good message, as long as they campaign hard and really utilize the anger that you see right now. I think you want to work together across the aisle if you can, but right now the Democrats have no interest in that. They're acting like they have this state forever, and I don't believe it. So I think people getting involved, getting educated, educating other people, and talking about these issues is really important.
Michael Fields, Executive Director of Colorado Rising Action. Your website, coloradorisingaction.org. Do I have that right?
That is right.
Michael Fields, thanks for your time. coloradorisingaction.org. And again, totally different than Colorado Rising. Add the action on the end, and you'll thank me. All right? Thank you, Michael. I appreciate your time.